Are you thinking of moving to Newton, Massachusetts? Today we're going to introduce you to Waban, one of their wonderful villages. I'm Jane. I'm a realtor based in Wellesley, Massachusetts, and I was born and raised in the Boston suburbs and been helping buyers and sellers here for over 20 years.
And I'm Dee Dee, and from my accent you can tell that I have not been living in Massachusetts my entire life, but I have been here for almost 12 years. I just fell in love with it and I consider myself a local now. So I'm a realtor on Jane's team.
A local expert.
Local expert, thank you. Yes.
So today we're going to explore what it's like to live in Waban, a wonderful village, one of 13 villages in the city of Newton, which is just west of Boston.
Yeah. One of the things I love about Waban, Jane, is the history of the little village. So it was actually named for the leader of the people in Massachusetts in the 17th century, Waban, and it was established as a formal town in 1886, actually. So it was there a lot longer than it was established, which is great. And the reason it was established then is because the arrival of the train in Waban. So it made it a convenient commuting area. So it's part of the T, which is what we call our subway or our transit system in Boston.
The loved and hated,
yes,
loved and despised T.
It was the first one, and some days we know it for sure because of the way it runs.
Indeed it is. And just to give you a little more information about the location, Newton is neighbors Wellesley on the west, Dover and Needham on the south, Brookline, Boston on the east. The Newton Wellesley Hospital is right on the border between Newton and Wellesley, where my twins were born, where I've been to have my gallbladder removed, and where we have lots of doctors.
It is an excellent hospital outside of the Boston proper area. And the other thing that we love and that residents love about Waban in this location is that it also has just exemplary schools. It's just a public school system. It's a really walkable little village. It's very safe. You'll see lots of residents out walking and kids playing. It's quintessential New England for sure. A lot of green space that they have in Waban, which is nice. And of course, the proximity to Boston and Route 128 is really key.
And it's right on the Charles River. So there's some neighborhoods with water views. Now you're also close to major highways, so you might get a Charles River view and get noise from 128, but really pretty neighborhoods.
Yeah. I just love the little town center.
Me
the
too.
Restaurants that are there is just really charming. A little small town kind of feel restaurants, but with excellent food. This got the Starbucks, which is great, and it has its very own Green Line stop, which is wonderful. The other thing that I think is just so charming about Waban is that back when they founded the town in 1886, they also founded something called the Waban Improvement Society, which was a group of volunteers dedicated to making Waban what it is now. That group is still thriving, and in fact, they run the Waban Library completely with the volunteer work, and it's just a lovely, charming little library.
So, of course, there's a major branch of the library in Newton Center, which is one of the villages nearby. But it's so fun for when your kids are little to be able to walk to your town center and have story hour.
Oh, yeah.
In the cutest little, teeny tiny little library.
I'm sure it saved you with twins. It sure saved me many times with my daughter. The other thing that, of course, we want to talk about is real estate. So we've described why somebody might want to focus there, but it is expensive. Newton at large is an expensive town in Massachusetts because of all the wonderful things that we just described to you. And Waban, as a part of Newton, is no different. In fact, we looked up, and as of June of 25, the median sales price in Waban is $2.5 million. That
kind of took us back, because even for all our towns, that I was like, woo, median. But we always like to dig into the data.
Yeah.
So we think that last year, or in the last 6 months, there just wasn't that much on the market in Waban, so there's not a large sample to look at.
Yeah.
So Dee Dee also took a look at average price per square foot, which is another good number to compare different communities.
Yeah, and it's actually quite similar to Wellesley and some of the other towns in this area. $660 was the average square foot price, so that it's still sticker shock for me being from the South, but it is a little more comparable when you look at that as opposed to the median of the sales price. There's lots of different types of houses in Waban as well. Of course, there's a lot of colonials and there's some Victorians, but then you'll also notice people have built some more modern homes as well. So it's got a range of variety in housing styles that are available. And then the last thing I'd like to mention relative to real estate, because it does affect the value, is we said the schools. There's an elementary school in the Waban Center called, is it Angier?
Angier.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
One of the newer schools, just beautiful.
Yeah. So that also makes it quite attractive and explains why it's such a dear price to live there.
Yes. So now we're going to take a look at a couple listings that sold in the last year We like to give you a low, middle, and kind of a high range of what's sold to give you an idea of how far your dollar goes, or what does $660 a square foot look like in Waban. So let's take a look at what was one of the lower priced homes that sold in the spring of 2025 in the neighborhood of Waban in Newton, Massachusetts. So this came on for $1,599 and sold right away. But there's something super cool about this house. It has a little detached office. So it's 3 beds, 1.5 baths, super cute little lot, and it's just half a mile to the local elementary school. It came on the market in April. It took a couple of weeks to get an accepted offer actually, and closed in June. So as you can see, it's a very cute, typical 1930s style home with a garage under. You come in the front door, there's a little tiled foyer, nice old style, beautiful banister, and recessed lighting, fireplace here. Could use some cosmetic updates. Very pretty. It has a skylight here. And the kitchen has kind of some old school tile, terracotta tile on the floor. Backsplash is a little bit older, but those are easy updates if somebody wanted to make it more contemporary looking. And you can see it has a sweet little patio right through this slider. It's got a nice dining room and everything's kind of open. Not lots of natural light, which is really pretty. Full bath upstairs with a jet tub, glass door, ceiling fans are nice. And then here's this beautiful inlay in the hardwood floors. So even if you refinish them, they could definitely preserve that. Some groovy tile in the powder room. Here we are in the basement, which is where the laundry is, which has a nice carpet, nice clean. You could use it for an office, playroom. But let's take a look outside at the patio. Just think this is such a cute little feature to have this little office. But hold on. So it's detached. It has its own heat. It does not have a bathroom. Oh, it has its own HVAC, so its own air conditioning and heat, and it's detached from the main house. So that's 80 Fenwick Road, which closed for $1,599 in the spring of 2025. For a median priced home, I'm going to show you 11 Quidnick Road, which came on the market for $2,299 and it sold for $2,500. It's 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, just over 1/3 of an acre. It was built in 1919. But beautifully updated. So this came on in February, had multiple offers in just 4 days, and it closed at the end of March. Let's take a look at this beautiful Tudor in the village of Waban. Typical of Tudors are these smaller windows, these very peaked roofs, and sometimes you see the stucco siding. And they do have beautiful detail, like this elegant banister going up the stairs and the open landing. I love that they have taken all the trim and painted it white, because a lot of these Tudors, they originally had all natural wood, which kind of presents as dark to buyers these days. So imagine if everything in this room that was wood was this color. So like all these beams would be dark, and it kind of brings the ceiling down. So just painting everything white makes it light and bright and beautiful. And this little ingle nook fireplace, I think that's what it's called, it has these little built-ins on either side with the high back. Very typical of a Tudor. And the rooms are not generally very large. They usually had more smaller rooms, but this is quite nice with all these built-ins and a great place to sit with a book. They've also updated all these windows because Tudors had a different style window. If I come across an old one, I'll show you. Nice open, bright kitchen, dine in, and with a breakfast bar. Beautiful TV family room, nice and open. Now here we are in the primary bedroom, which has a nice wood-burning fireplace. I find that most people don't end up using them, or they'll use a crayon log if anything, but there still can be nice to look at. Sometimes people put candles in there. Here's another nice bedroom. Look how cute the ceiling fixture is. It looks like a bird cage. And a 3rd bedroom. Now up on the 3rd floor, you can see you're on the 3rd floor. They've made this an office. You can tell from the skylights, the peak, and these little access to the eaves. Then we're going to take a look at the beautiful deck. So this is a pretty steep lot, so it's kind of terraced. So it's a good use of a more challenging, not level lot. But you get a nice view too, and privacy here to admire your roadies. And there's even a deck off the 3rd floor. Here's a detached garage, which is great to have. So that was 11 Quidnick Road, which was a median priced home for 2025, which sold for $2.5 million. For a high priced home, we're going to show you 11 Edgefield Road, which sold in Waban in, it came on in late February. February of 2025, and it took over a month to get an accepted offer, and it finally went off the market mid-April and closed in May. But it is a super cool house. And they still got a pretty good price. It was on for just under 4.5. They sold it for 4.357. Super contemporary. It's on about a 12,000 square foot lot, so pretty small, very contemporary. So you can see it's got this balcony here, lots of big windows, and a very nice yard. So, but you know, for Waban you're going to be in an in-town location. You are not getting a ton of privacy from your neighbors, even at $4.5 million. But let's take a look. Another very cool, clear staircase railing with big, large doors. This is very funky. Nice mudroom, beautiful kitchen. Love the contrasting wood on the cabinetry, on the bottom cabinetry, and the painted cabinets on the top. Super cool. And you can see there's a wine fridge here, a sink here, cooktop there. Everything's got panels, the refrigerator's behind panels. Very unusual for Waban, actually. It's not what jumps to mind when you tell me you're going to go look for a house in Waban. And this is an electric fireplace, dining area, and nice detail on the wall to give it some visual interest. This is a super cool powder room with one solid piece of marble as the front and a wall hung sink. And another contemporary feature is that the water comes out right out of the wall. The faucet's right here on the wall. They're a bear to install, I heard. But anyway, upstairs, huge primary suite with its own balcony. These people have great taste, unless it's all staging. The stager has great taste. Soaking tub. And I like seeing the black hardware. That's very cool. And this is actually reflected, but there's the shower head. So the shower is separate from the tub, which is nice. And a fabulous closet. Beautiful deck with some privacy. Here we are in the lower level. So this is actually the foundation, and they've made legal egress so they could put a bedroom down here. So this is your workout space. And here's your theater. Another great place to relax with a bar, wet bar, as we say. So that's 11 Edgefield Road, which sold for $4.357 in the spring of 2025.
So if you're considering buying in Waban, please keep in mind just a few tips that we have for you. Number one is that you just have to move quickly if you're going to compete there. The good properties, they just don't last, do they, Jane? They go really quickly.
Still see multiple offers over asking for a lot of the inventory.
Yes, definitely a seller's market. Some of Massachusetts has changed a bit up north and other places, but not here. We really and truly recommend the first step to be getting with your lender. You want to get pre-qualified to see exactly what your budget would be. And if you need a recommendation, please reach out. We have some lenders that are marvelous, and they can actually help you along that process in a relatively painless way. So we'll be happy to refer you to somebody. Also, as much as we love Waban, we both of us love it, but there's other really lovely villages within Newton. So certainly consider some of those as well. There may be more inventory available in some of the other villages as well, because Waban is quite small, as Jane said. And then lastly, hire a great agent that knows the market. And I think you're looking at two of them. We know this market well, and would be delighted to help you.
So thank you for tagging along on this tour of Waban. And if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and let us know if you have any questions. And if you're ready to take the next step in your journey to buy a home, we love to set up a buyer call on Zoom where we can get to know your needs and figure out exactly how we can help you and which village might work best for you and your family. So thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.